What's going on in Argentina with crypto? There is a new Argentinian presidential candidate who is pro-Bitcoin, and there's a lot of stories about people using crypto and Bitcoin in Argentina. I would love to talk about this today in a bit more detail, and that is what's going to be the focus. So stay tuned for the full video and watch to the end to really get a better understanding of what is happening in the country. Likewise, welcome back to the Blockhash podcast channel. Let's talk crypto. And make sure to also check out our Patreon, where we do chart analysis Monday through Friday, as well as release exclusive and bonus content for the podcast. With that said, let's jump right in. I want to read through this article first on the pro-Bitcoin presidential candidate who's gaining a bit in the polls here in Argentina. Now, Argentina has been very against crypto. They have not been friendly to it. They have not really pushed it. There is a bit of a crypto community that is there in Argentina, but it's mostly the people, the retail side, that has driven demand for Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies within the country until now. So I want to read through this and give you guys some context. So as Argentina grapples with economic turmoil and a recent crypto ban, a new pro-Bitcoin presidential candidate, Javier Milei, gains momentum in the polls. Now, Javier's Bitcoin stance and radical policies, contrast sharply with the traditional political landscape, making the upcoming elections a hotbed of anticipation. Why? Because people want crypto in Argentina. The inflation is over 100%, 104%, the highest in 31 years. That is insane. People can't use the peso for anything there. They either use dollars or they use Bitcoin. And I remember when I was there in 2018 and the currency crumbled like 40% at the time. And every single person was taking either dollars or Bitcoin. They were actually in all the Ubers, they were accepting Bitcoin too. I remember paying people in Bitcoin for meals at the fucking Four Seasons Hotel. It cost me like $10 and I got like a glass of wine. I got an appetizer. I got a salad. I got something for lunch, like $10 in total. It was nothing. It's absolutely insane. I went to another place and I got a quesadilla and 2 beers for like $2. It is bad in Argentina. It has gotten worse. Anyways, Horacio Rodriguez, an economist and mayor of Buenos Aires, was seen as the frontrunner against the incumbent Peronist government. Now, with the crippling 104% inflation, the highest in 31 years, the plummeting value of the unofficial black market peso, and a severe drought impacting large rural areas have catalyzed the citizens' demand for a drastic paradigm shift. This is what happens. The pendulum swings. Within the center-right opposition coalition, Together for Change, Patricia Bullrich, an assertive ex-security minister, emerges as a potential contender to Loretta. I'm not going to dive into all that stuff, but I want to focus on the outsider here who is pro-Bitcoin. Now, the Argentine polls are notoriously inconsistent, and Milei, a 15-year-old political outsider, is topping some polls as the most popular individual politician ahead of the August primaries. Notably, his support is particularly strong among men under the age of 30, so he's popular with the younger generation. He is a striking figure in Argentine politics, an intriguing character, a bachelor who shares his home with 5 mastiffs, each named after famous economists. He makes waves by distributing his congressman's salary via YouTube raffles. He's a professed Catholic. His sister primarily manages his campaign, and a rabbi is among his closest confidants. Very interesting guy. But anyways, Milei envisions nothing short of something a bit more radical. In their opinion, I don't think it's radical, but he voted against the government's deal with the IMF, which refinanced a $44 billion loan, initially taken out in 2018, and the deal requires Argentina to reduce its fiscal deficit from 2.3% in 2022 to 1.9% of GDP by the end of the year. Now, Milei called these conditions incredibly lax, slashing government expenditures by 10% of GDP. He is resolute in his refusal to raise taxes and plans to drop the peso in favor of the US dollar, which at this point sounds like a pretty darn good idea. Here is a bit of a breakdown for the polls on the candidates. Milei, with Avanza Libertad, is at 22%, which is pretty darn good. So he's gaining pretty quickly. He also has been in support, they call controversial, but he wants to ban abortion, introducing more relaxed gun laws, legalizing the market for human organs. I don't know about legalizing the market for human organs. I don't know if that's a donation thing or for people that are dead, for hospitals that may need access to this kind of stuff when someone passes away, or I don't know how it works in Argentina, but I want to focus on the crypto aspect. But the payment service providers offering payment accounts, the PSPCPs, can no longer conduct or facilitate transactions involving digital assets, including cryptocurrencies, because they are now need to be regulated by the national authority and authorized by the Central Bank of the Republic of Argentina, BCRA. So it's become a little bit more difficult in Argentina to use crypto and Bitcoin because of this kind of Bitcoin and crypto ban. But he wants to, I think, reverse a lot of this stuff and open up to the idea. And that's primarily why he's surging so much in popularity in the polls there, a bit of a beacon of hope, per se. So I don't know much about this guy, to be 100% honest, Javier Milei, but I support the crypto stance because Argentina needs a way out of their predicament. I want to also read a quick article on a coffee shop revealing a 10x rise in crypto pay in the last year, just highlighting the demand from the retail side to pay with Bitcoin because they need to get away from the peso because inflation is just killing people. So in this article, it says that an Argentine coffee shop has announced a 10x rise in crypto paying customers in just the past year and plans to open a branch in Chile. They've been doing so well. The shop is named CryptStation and has 2 branches in the capital, in Buenos Aires. In the past 12 months, the shop stated over 10% of its customers have paid their bills in crypto. The shop added that the vast majority, almost 6 in 10 of crypto customers, pay in Tether. Again, they want access to dollars. It's easier to use Tether than it is to get a US dollar at the moment. Just for comparison with the inflation rate, Argentina is at 104%, the highest in the world right now. The US is at 5%, I guess 4.9% as of the other day. But it's really bad in Argentina, 104%. This has driven a whole new wave of crypto adoption, and it's a constant upward trend, and customers are choosing to buy things like coffee and other goods with crypto. So yeah, the coffee shop also makes use of Binance Pay platform to process customer payments. The popularity of USDT has skyrocketed in Argentina of late, largely due to spiraling inflation, obviously. So there's a reckoning coming for Argentina, unfortunately. It's one of those countries that has either done really well in the past or really poorly. And politically, it's messed up there just like everywhere else. But there's a chance now for the primaries come August in Argentina for people to elect this guy, Javier Milei, into office as a new president. And he's, got a quarter of the votes. Where it stands right now, he can continue to surge if things continue to get worse in Argentina. And I think it needs change. I really do think that country needs change in the way of getting more into blockchain and Web3 because they can't keep it up. And if they were to take the deal with the IMF, they would have had to put an outright ban on crypto altogether, more than they already have, just so that they could take the loan. The IMF doesn't want to bail them out unless they get pushed out of crypto. It kind of says a lot about what the developing world is trying to do towards crypto right now. But with, I think, BRICS really embracing the technology, I think with Europe through MiCA now embracing the technology, I think Latin America is going to come next. the U.S. is trying to figure its shit out. Hopefully it does. But I live in Colombia, and there's a massive demand for it here. I know there are in other places, including Brazil, and Argentina is up on that list. With 104% inflation, I think it's a prime candidate to really switch over. Take some lessons from what's happening in El Salvador, the amount of growth that little country has seen by just making Bitcoin legal tender. They should do the same thing in Argentina. What do they have to lose? The peso is trash. I'm sorry if you're Argentinian and you're listening to this, but it is, and you know it. And you can't really trust the dollar going forward either, to be honest. So crypto is the logical way to go. Bitcoin is the logical way to go. Let's see what happens. Guys, make sure to like the video, share this with someone that you think might be interested in what's going on in Argentina. And, you know, if they live there, maybe they're Argentinian, maybe they're looking for some hope, some optimism going into the rest of this year. Like, what can they do to get out of this inflationary period? Yeah, share this with them. Make sure to comment your thoughts down below. Subscribe to the channel. Would really appreciate it. And yeah, that's it for today. Talk to you soon. Cheers.